I just turned 45. It's a strange age. Some of your friends have toddlers, others have kids graduating college or even about to get married. 45 is an age that some consider middle age. Perhaps the time when we reflect more deeply on the path that we have walked in life and the one that lies ahead. When we think about middle age, we can't help but reflect on mortality, on the fact that regardless how healthy we are or how optimistic we feel, none of us truly knows when our time will come. We don't know when we'll reach the middle of our lives or when we will come to the end of them. It is a sobering thought, and yet one that is deeply connected to the teachings of our sacred texts in the Torah this week. We just read on Shabbat, on Parashat Vayechi, the death of two towering figures, Jacob and King David. Both on their deathbeds, surrounded by their children and loved ones, prepared to pass on their final words. Jacob, the patriarch of the Israelite tribes, offered blessings to his sons, each one unique to the person and the future of the tribe they represent. On the other hand, King David, at the end of his life, imparts his wisdom to his son Solomon, giving him advice about leadership, justice, and faithfulness to God. These are profound teachings. These two men on their deathbeds give us wisdom. In the face of death, they ensure that their lives have meaning beyond their lifetimes. In doing so, they teach us about the importance of living with intention, about preparing for death, and creating a legacy that lasts long after we are gone. We all live with the uncertainty of time, and so we must learn to live with that awareness. Memento mori, a Latin phrase meaning remember you will die. It is a concept that encourages us to live with the awareness of death. It urges us not to be morbid, but rather to live in a way that honors the brevity of life, to seize the moment and make our time count. It is not a message of fear, it's a message of perspective. When we remember that our time is limited, it gives our daily actions more meaning. It reminds us to live with purpose and to be mindful of the legacy we are creating every day. Both Jacob and David understood the preciousness of time and the weight of their legacies. They knew their time had come. They had lived a full life. Jacob, one filled with challenges, struggles, and triumphs. At his deathbed, he spoke to each of his sons, offering blessings and insights that would guide their futures. He understood that his life was not just about the days he had lived, but about what he was leaving behind. His legacy would live on through his children and their descendants. King David as well. He understood the fleeting nature of time. As he lay dying, he gave Solomon instructions on how to rule with wisdom, justice, and faithfulness to God. David knew that his time as king was coming to an end, but his reign would continue through Solomon. His legacy, built on the strength of his leadership and the wisdom he had acquired, would be carried forward by his son. Legacy, what a word. It means what I will leave behind when my time comes. How will I be remembered? Will it be for the things that I have achieved, the people I have loved, the values I have upheld? These are questions we should think about every day. We all have the opportunity to shape our legacy, and our actions today are the building blocks of what we will leave behind. Jacob's legacy was not simply about the wealth he amassed or the power he held. His legacy was in his children, in the 12 tribes of Israel, and in the covenant he passed on to them. Each of his sons though flawed, carried forward the lessons of their father and the promises of God. Jacob's blessings were his way of ensuring that his legacy would be one of guidance and faith, an ongoing journey of the Jewish people. Similarly, David's legacy was not just about the kingdom, but about the values he instilled in his son. David's final instructions were about how to rule with integrity, how to remember God in all things, and how to build a lasting peace. David's legacy was not in his military conquests or in his political alliances, but in the wisdom he passed on the next generation. Both Jacob and David teach us that our legacy is shaped by the choices we make today. We don't have to wait until we are on our deathbeds to start thinking about our legacy. We can begin today, right now, by living with intention. If we live as though every day matters, as though every action we take has eternal significance, we will create a life that is meaningful, one that will continue to have an impact long after we are gone. The legacy of Jacob and David is a reminder that death is not the end. It is simply a transition. What we do in this life, the relationships we nurture, the values we uphold, and the wisdom we pass on to others, these are the things that make us immortal. Jacob's blessings to his sons, David's instructions to Solomon, and the wisdom we pass on to those we love are the markers of a life well lived. Finally, both Jacob and David shows that part of living fully is being prepared for death. When we accept the reality of mortality, when we can begin to live then more fully, we must remember that every day is a gift. Every day is really your birthday, because as our tradition says, every day is a new beginning. You are born again every morning. We never know how much time we have, so we must make the most of the time we are given. Living with this awareness of death doesn't mean living in fear, but living in gratitude. It means seizing the moment, cherishing the relationships we have, and creating a legacy of wisdom, kindness, and love. Let us take this to heart as we move forward, with the understanding that we never know when our time will come, but we can always live today in a way that honors the lives of those who came before us and those who will come after.